Hello everyone, and welcome to the Dice Commando YouTube channel. I'm Andrew, with you here as always. This is the Commando Cast, a video cast about all things Star Wars Destiny. This video and others like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. Please show your support with a like and subscribe, and be sure to hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any new videos. If you want to get involved with the channel, consider becoming a channel member. There are many benefits to channel membership, including access to our Discord, exclusive deck tech and strategy videos, and the opportunity to help create channel content. I want to sincerely thank all our channel members, as I truly couldn't do this without your support. You guys rock. Go Commando. Hello my friends, and welcome to Dice Commando and the Commando Cast. I'm Andrew with you here as always, wishing you a happy holidays and hoping that whatever you celebrate or choose not to is going in the way that you want to. Hopefully you have some time to enjoy it with friends, family, and or loved ones. And you know what? Because we're gamers, hopefully you're getting some games in, even if it's some of those silly party games. Lord knows I enjoy those as well. So this week we're looking at bubble characters in Star Wars Destiny, which I define as those characters that have been good in the past or even today are just really solid, really good on paper characters, but for whatever reason haven't found their way into the current meta. So thanks for joining me again today as we theory craft on how we can make some of our old favorites good again. Now that is a tasty burger. Hello everyone, welcome back to Bubble Week here on the Commando Cast. Today we are talking about many people's favorite Jedi and one of the few smart enough to actually know that something wasn't right with Anakin, good old Mace Windu. So Mace Windu himself he's a really strong character. His sides are amazing, right? 1, 2, 2, 2 focus and a money. And ever since Convergence, I think he's always just been kind of right there on the bubble of being very good. And by since Convergence, I mean since he was introduced. There's been a lot of various decks out there over the years with Mace, and I think, to be honest with you, I think a lot of them are actually still relevant. Mace Padme was like one of the earliest ones, and that's pretty much because we saw Mace and Padme spoiled well before the set dropped. But we've had, I think one of the better ones out there, shout out to Stephen Arlen, was Mace and Satine. Now that one used, of course, Built to Last, which has rotated out, so that deck's kind of hurt. However, the core of that deck, if you really think about it, is still present. Custom Bandolier is still a thing, Vact is still a thing, so the idea there is still pretty solid. It's just that you lose the points, or you lose the plot, so you're kind of in a weird spot for points. So that deck is what it is. I think fundamentally it's a good concept. Obviously, the deck as it stands is not present anymore. Then we look at some of the other stuff. I tried. You guys know I was on Ayla Tarful for a long time during CM. I haven't played this, but there's really no reason you couldn't do a Mace Tarful. And then one of my old go-tos was Mace Wiki Tribe. That's also still a thing very much. I mean, it basically brings all the, except for the 2 focus that Tarful brings, it kind of has all the same idea there, and you can use Tribe to keep Mace alive. So all of those decks that we just mentioned are existing decks already, that are already out there, or that have previously been out there, but none of them were truly like tier 1 decks, and the fact remains, Mace Windu's never really been a tier 1 character when it really comes down to it. But there's really no reason Mace shouldn't be a tier 1 character, really nothing holding him back. I mean, obviously the 16 points hurts him, but what he brings, aside from just his sides, is he's very good. He has that 97 to 99, depending on how you mulligan and all that, but he has a very optimal chance of making sure that you get a shield and an upgrade on round 1. Well, maybe not the shield, but at least start with an upgrade in round 1. Many times you're pulling that Jedi Saber, which is fantastic for the extra shields. He's very good. It's just a matter of, again, finding that thing that pairs with him. And what was unfortunate when FA dropped is Mace really didn't pick up a partner. You guys know, I admittedly screwed up in the original spoilers. For some reason in my head, Cal Kestis was 14. So I was like, oh man, I'm going to play Mace and Cal. And then I went to shoot a cast about it, and I realized that they were wrong. So to be clear, I caught it before the cast went live, but still. So I was very excited about that pairing, but it's not a thing. So that's really, I think, what we're looking for Mace, is if Mace can get a 14-point character. I mean, it would be ideally blue, right, for the mono Mace at this point, right? Because then you could do your Apt Lesson, you could do your Force Affinity, you can do all that cool stuff that's out there. But it would, really open up the door to kind of some Mace hijinks. I mean, Mace with Cal would have been obviously probably too good with ability to get all of the one costs on him. But remember, a lot of those one costs we picked up are still things, right? Playing BD1 on Mace does not feel bad. It's also an equipment if you're going the Bandolier route. So that's kind of what I wanted to just go into in Theorycraft today. Unfortunately, I don't have a ton of new decks with Mace because I think that he didn't really get any tools. But I did want to kind of go in and talk in depth about some of the decks we referred to, specifically Mace Wiki Tribe. I think so I want to do a red version and a yellow version. Specifically, I want to talk Mace Wiki Tribe. That's a very solid deck because you get Feat of Strength for the Wookiee. You can play all the Wookiee tricks. Well, there's not that many Wookiee tricks, I grant you. But you get Wookiee Rage, which is not a bad one because they're going to be throwing damage at you somehow, and you can kind of choose where you want it to go. Wookiee Rage can always slide in a nice surprise on those ones. You get all sorts of tutoring effects. You have the Yoda's lightsaber, you have Jedi lightsaber, you have some of the 3-drops as well, and you have Anakin saber as well, which does have your redeploy. You can go over to the Wookiee if for some reason you lose Mace. So I think that deck still holds pretty well. I mean, the game has slowed down significantly, and removal's more at a premium, which means that the healing from the Wookiee or field medics, or from red healing, I should say, red hero healing, is more effective since the game slowed down a little bit. And I mean, the drawbacks are there's not a lot of shields on the table to kind of hold off the Terran Vader thing, and you don't get any crazy surprises. But Neiman with Apt Lesson and Draw Closer, I mean, that's a pretty strong blue hero. I mean, we've seen that's what set blue hero into where it is right now. So I think that's worth looking at. So as far as the yellow side of things goes, that's where it gets a lot more tricky with just what's out there right now. Again, I think we're primarily trying to go like the Bandolier type play here. So the characters that pop, obviously, I mean, you could still do Satine, but that's kind of weird at the 8 points. So like maybe you do like Satine and a Jawa or something like that, or I guess technically you could do Chopper and a Jawa. But I just don't like any of the options that are out there right now, unless you're running Mace single die. But it feels kind of weird to be protecting your single die character when he's like a little. I mean, he's not little, but like it's kind of weird to run him single die. So I'd love to hear if anybody else has some crazy ideas for yellow. I just don't see it. And then moving on into blue. I mean, we already talked about the 14-point blue character, an apprentice or a Jedi would be amazing. But there's also one thing I do want to consider running him with BD Yoda, Big Yoda. So you'd run Yoda Elite, I think. You'd run Yoda Elite, and you'd run Mace Non-Elite. So it's a 3-dice start. But what we've seen in the current meta is that the big characters can last longer, and then when Mace is helping get the upgrades and put the shields and stuff on, I mean, not Mace putting the shield, but he's putting the shield on Yoda when he plays it, and then Yoda's making his own shields. And I think you're just kind of stalling then until you can, get Neiman on Yoda and then Apt Lesson up. So, right now, a lot of, I've been playing Yoda, Sifo Dyas, but I do wonder if throwing Mace in there it would be interesting, because Mace's die, having the 2 focus on there, I'm wondering if the 1 Mace die wouldn't actually be okay versus the 2 Sifo Dyas die. So that's something that might be worth trying out as well, just kind of in the realm of crazy ideas, just to see how that deck would work. I don't know that it would be that much worse than Sifo Dyas, because Sifo Dyas is getting you that card most of the time, and Mace can get you the upgrades. He's not pulling you the Apt Lesson and stuff, but I don't know, or the Draw Closer. I don't know. It's a very interesting thing to try, and I think it was worth it. So that's pretty much exhausted my ideas or the conversation on Mace Windu. I really do hope that we see something with him in the next set. I mean, he has options out there right now. It's just that none of them are setting him super high apart. I still think that if you're going to do Mace Tarful, you probably just do Mace Wiki Tribe. I mean, I think it just makes sense. You're only sacking the 1 health, and then you get Tribe, which is worth way more than 1 health, right? So I think that's the way to go. And, just in a closing thought, Mace Padme is probably not horrible right now, actually. It's a little low health for, I think, what we're used to, because Padme's just at 10, which is unfortunate. But we're seeing that when the low removal, that focus has become even stronger than it was before. So maybe that's something to think about as well. And remember, if you don't need the focus, with Padme, his 2 focus becomes 2 indirect, which gives him 4 damage side. So not worth completely ignoring either. So anyway, what ideas do you guys have, right? How can we get Mace Windu, the classic BAMFer, how can we get him into a more dominant position in the new meta? Because, as of right now, he just hasn't really been there. And hasn't really been seeing much play. And I think he's a fundamentally strong character that really makes the framework for a lot of decks. It's just that we're just not seeing it just because it isn't working. So maybe we'll see it in the future. I don't know. Let me know your ideas, and if nothing else, guys, go Commando.